Good morning and welcome to Behind the Screen. I am JM, your host. This is just a show where we talk about gaming, we talk about games, we talk about things that we love, we talk about things that inspire us, that are interesting and bring joy to our lives. First of all, hello to everyone who is in the chat, to Grom, to Certified to Organic. Good to see you, buddy. To Tink and to John Doom and to Shadow of Dragons. Good to see you again as well. Thanks for the subscription. So, this is episode 131. Tink, who has taken over as our social media person, says that numbers help people. And so I went back this morning and made sure everything was numbered in the behind the screen chat. Episode 131. It's a long time to have been doing this. I mean, yeah, it's been a joy to sit around and talk games and gaming with everybody. So we're going to talk about something that's rather new. Normally, I talk about things that I've loved for a very long time. Second edition D&D, Malazan Books of the Fallen. I think we may dedicate a month to just talking about Malazan Books of the Fallen. Maybe Christmas. That'll be my Christmas gift to myself, Tink, is that we're going to do December as Malazan Books of the Fallen. But things that I've known, I've loved, that I want to shine a spotlight on. And this is something new to me. This is something that John Doom actually just kept poking at me about doing, and then Tink heard about it, and she started poking at me to do this. So I'm going to talk about a Savage World setting that up until really probably about a month and a half ago, I didn't really realize exist, had no real interest in, until I was sold on it. And when I was sold and the books came in, I was sold hard. So let's go back. One of my favorite shows, and my wife's favorite show, we rewatched it probably more than any other show, hands down together or separately, is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Something about the quirky admixture of snarky comedy, teenage to younger adulthood drama, plus horror. I mean, we had Lovecraftian horror, we had vampire horror, we had, at some point, everything in the oeuvre of horror was touched. And then just some great episodes like the Silence episode where no one could speak, or the musical episode stands out just as a high watermark of that, a watershed moment of that show. Or the episode The Body, which was the first time that I realized how much I relied on my perceptions of a show to inform me of how to feel. If you go back and watch The Body, it is a masterclass in how to make the audience uneasy through use of perspective and camera angles. It's wonderful. You feel uneasy the whole time because of how it's all laid out. Did I say oeuvre or umbra? I mean, umbra I love too. Like, the shadow is just wonderful. Hey, Padre, good to see you. So, John, this one's for you. Tink, this one's for you. There were ups and downs in that series of Buffy. I agree. I got to interview the designers behind this setting. Season 4, the first college year episode, is not, or college year season, is not the greatest episode. And I think still one of the things that I enjoyed about that show is even when it was bad, it caused me to go, well, if I were to do it, I would do it this way. Much like the Deathgate saga Deathgate Cycle by Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman. Book 7 really made me realize that maybe I could be a writer, because I came up with like 7 different endings that would have been better than that book. I love Margaret Weiss and Tracy Hickman, but I just did not enjoy the end of the Deathgate Cycle. So, we are talking about East Texas University. And the reason I went through this retrospective on Buffy is because they said in a lot of ways they were inspired as well by Buffy season 4, which was the college university, and they just felt like it wasn't handled well. And like most creative people, when you see something that inspires you, it comes from one of three places. That's amazing. I would do it this way. That's amazing. I'm really interested in this spot that wasn't discussed. Let me pry it open and make that my own. Or, whew, that was awful. If I were to do it, I would do it this way. It's one of my favorite stories from one of my favorite authors of fantasy, Stephen R. Donaldson. He wrote the first Thomas Covenant Chronicles and he was done. But Del Rye of Del Rye Publishing kept taking him to dinner and pitching him awful ideas for the sequel. Like, just apparently so bad that at one point he said, my mind and soul rebelled and was like, if I were going to do it, I would do it this way. And that's where we got the second and third Chronicles of Thomas Covenant from. So yes, Certified Torganic, this is something special. And I will be honest, I did not get it until I read it. There's probably going to be a follow-up to this episode when I get Pine Box Middle School in. I'm planning on running Pine Box Middle School for my son's middle school RPG club in January. I feel like that's just perfect. And I've got another one of the books, Degrees of Horror, coming in. But this is East Texas University. Degrees of Horror, obviously, is another book that you can play in. Study Abroad, which is a semester abroad in East Texas University. So what is East Texas University? Well, first of all, it's set in East Texas. Not growing up anywhere near here, I have a lot of friends now who play at my gaming table who are like, "Oh, did you take Texas history?" I'm like, "No, no one takes Texas history. They are Texans through and through, and it makes sense now that I've lived here." The descriptions of East Texas in this book are amazing. From here's what the weather is like. And really, it's not the heat, it's the humidity in East Texas that gets you. Here's what the insect life is like. They talk about fire ants, and a funny aside, not so funny for her, but, now we can joke about it. When we moved here, we got stuck in a hotel for a month. There was a problem with our closing. We were supposed to close the day after we arrived in Texas, and we didn't close for a month. So we ended up storing all of our stuff in a truck, and when we were finally moving the truck out, my wife was helping me back it out of my friend's driveway, and she stepped on a fire ant nest in flip-flops. It was her first experience with the Texas wildlife, and it was not great. Right, yeah, in our interview, specifically on the map, it's somewhere near Jasper, Texas. So it is this very Texas thing. The people who wrote this book loved it and definitely embodied a sense of place, which for me in horror is a very important thing. It's why I love Stephen King so much. Stephen King embodies, like when he writes, you get a sense that this place in Maine or this place in Chicago or this place in Colorado, these are real places. Even Midworld feels like a real place. So East Texas University feels like a real place. Selling point number one. Selling point number two is they really give you all of the tools that you need to run a game set in college. Fraternities, sororities, exams, and they're not just window dressing. There are mechanical advantages to passing your exams. There are mechanical problems with failing your end of semester exams. And so it's this slice of life in Texas at a university. But it's more than just that, because on top of that, layered in between, sandwiched around, nestled in and about, is this subtle layer of supernatural horror, a la Buffy. Pine Box Middle School gives me real Stranger Things vibes. There is what's going on the surface, college life, things that you would have to juggle, school, being a TA, studying for exams, partying, all of these things. It does. It captures this college feel in a very unique way that I've never really seen before in gaming. Hello to Rook and to Padre. I see you guys jumping in the chat. But then it underlays it with this layer of supernatural horror. The Netflix show, I think it was called The Order, with the secret societies that were all magic based in at this college. Great inspiration for this. And so your characters are college students that get drawn up into these supernatural events. Sometimes they're related to the town or history or one of the professors. In study abroad, you go to, let me see here. I know you go to Italy. So you go to Costa Rica, Italy, Poland, and the UK, and get sucked up into local myths and legends and horrors all going on in the world. Hey, Mark. Hey, Grom, good to see you as well. So this is special. It is unique. Like a lot of things in Savage Worlds, and this is something I love about Pinnacle, Deadlands started it. And Deadlands is clearly, if you ever get to talk to Shane, is something deeply embodied in who he is. He loves the genre of Westerns. He loves supernatural horror. This is something that is deeply personal to him and is embodied in Deadlands. Look at Holler over here. Holler, the guys who wrote Holler. This is clearly something that they love and they want to bring to people because they love it. Look at Jackals for me. Bronze Age, Ancient Near East, mythology and cultures are something that I have loved and studied for over a decade, and I wanted to bring that to my gaming. No, Mark and Padre. East Texas University has that embodied love throughout the books. Preston and Ed clearly caught something that was very important to them and brought it out into the gaming space. I know they're working on a Suede, an East Texas University 2 with updated for Suede with a full plot point campaign, and I can't wait for that to come out. I passed on Pine Box Middle School because I was like, Stranger Things, okay. But now, after reading East Texas University, I've ordered Pine Box Middle School because, again, there's something special here. Certified to Organic, I know John and Tink would drop everything to do a live stream of East Texas University or Pine Box Middle School. When I get a little bit more recovered, we'll have to talk about doing an East Texas University live stream and just see how that goes. Yes, Tink, Deadlands is the same thing because they build so much of the sense of place and history into all of their books. Again, this is something I'm very passionate about. I hope that's coming through. I want books that I can tell that the author is in love with what they're writing. And I feel like too often I read books, whether they're gaming books or novels or movies or TV shows, where I can very easily tell the people creating this don't love what they're creating. It is either a strip mine of something that they're familiar with or something that they think will be popular. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but for me, if I don't feel that intense personal investment, there's a detachment for me. You mean Abrams' Star Wars movie set in the Star Trek universe? Listen, all I'm saying is it's a story about a young boy who's a farmer or grows up in farmland who doesn't know his father and ends up growing up and hooking up with a crew on a spaceship to stop a planet-destroying superweapon. I think I've seen that movie. I think I've seen that movie from Abrams now 3 times. Yeah, I kind of feel like the Star Trek movie was an audition for Star Wars, kind of like a backdoor pilot. But I will say I love that movie because the actors all clearly loved what they were doing. Carl Urban as Bones was wonderful. Just wonderful. Yes, I would agree. It's also why, strangely enough, I love OSR games, because most OSR games are love letters to D&D. They may not do anything mechanically new or exciting, but they're definitely love letters to a specific time and place in gaming history. So I'm kind of like, I can get behind that. Like I love that. So, East Texas University. If you end up wanting to get this, it is available on Pinnacle's site. I'll put a link in the show notes. And while this is not, East Texas University is not designed for Suede, it does have a free 2-page conversion for how to convert East Texas University to Suede. We're going to talk a lot about East Texas University going forward on Behind the Screen, because again, I've got Degrees of Horror coming in that I want to read through. I may do a little bit more in-depth look at Degrees of Horror and Study Abroad here in the future. And when Pine Box Middle School arrives, I'm going to be talking about that. And when the East Texas University 2 Kickstarter goes live, whenever that is, know that we're going to be announcing it here and shouting it from the rooftops. So that is East Texas University. That's why it's special. That's why it's beautiful to me. I can feel the love of the setting that the authors have. So that's it for Behind the Screen this week. If you want to talk more Savage Worlds or hear me talk about more Savage Worlds, tune in tonight at 9:30 Eastern, which is a later stream than I normally do for Savage Universe. But we're going to be talking with Brandon of Star Anvil Studios with their release of their new Saints and Sinners Jumpstart. And I got the opportunity to talk with Tracy Sizemore about the Han cluster, and that Jumpstart has just released. I'll put that link in the show notes as well. I'm looking forward to talking with Tracy in October again about the Han cluster, because optimistic sci-fi is something that I think is lacking and that I love. So it was great to see you all as well from this side of the screen. I will be back on Tuesday, and on Tuesday we're going to step into a beautiful madness. Is how I will describe that. We're going to start talking about Soulbound and why it's beautiful and interesting and why you may want to take a look at it. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay gaming. I am JM. This has been Behind the Screen, and I thank you all for tuning in. I thank you all for the well wishes, all of the thoughts and prayers that came my way. It has been a slow road to recovery, and it will continue to be a slow road to recovery. But I'm getting stronger every day. I actually ran my first game. Maybe I'll do a debriefing about the 13th Age 2nd Edition campaign that I just started up. So until then, I'll see you all later. Have a good one.